Hey, my name's James Nicholson. In this video, I want to talk about, is the property market just starting to crash? You see, we've got a downward trend in property, that's for sure. We've had 14 months of interest rate rises. We've had a pause in interest rates. We've got Rightmove asking prices down. So what's actually happening in the market? And is it right that some analysts are saying the market could go down as much as 20 or 30%? Let's cover that in this video and more. But while you're here, if you haven't done already, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. I've got new content every single day. The channel is going through some huge growth at the moment, and I really appreciate, and I don't want you to miss out on the videos. So the easiest way to keep track of the channel, smash that subscribe, hit the bell. Also, while you're here, smash that like button. Do something, tickle it, smash it, whatever you want to do to it. It needs to turn blue. So take a moment, turn that like button blue over there. That really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Let's get some more views. We're going to hit 1 million views this month. So, what's going on? Well, look, house prices are going down. That's no secret. We've all seen this. We all knew this was going to happen. In fact, we thought it was going to happen in the pandemic. It made sense. Businesses were shut, we were working from home, but then we all got lots of money, or lots of us did. We got bounce back loans, we had furlough scheme, we weren't spending on holidays, we weren't going out, we weren't going to restaurants. And so people had lots of money. They also wanted to move to bigger properties out of London. And so house prices did have a rapid growth period for 2 consecutive years. Now, what goes up must come down. Not always with house prices, but interest rates got out of control. You see, the government printed so much money that inflation went crazy. We were above 11%. We have higher energy bills coming in. Everything at the supermarket is more expensive. And so the government, how they react to that is to increase the interest rates. They've done that 14 times. And now we're starting to see some issues with that. Now, this time last year, so I'm talking about October, November, December in 22, we did have 3 consecutive months of house price drops. Then we had a pretty flat market. And so far in 23, we have had a pretty flat market, maybe 1% down in the 2023 period. Don't shoot me. I'm talking about annually house prices are down 6%, but most of that happened at the end of 22, if that makes sense. Give me a like if you didn't earlier. So look, house prices are definitely heading down, but how much further could they drop? Now, here's the problem. When you put the interest rates up, you're turning that interest rate up and you want to slow down spending. That's the goal of that, right? Debt gets more expensive. People will borrow less money. The affordability of mortgages goes down significantly. The problem is there's such a lag because most people are in a fixed rate deal. And so most people are fixed. Some are coming off every month. Hundreds of thousands of people come off. And now they're being significantly hit by higher interest rates. But does that mean they need to sell? In order for the market to crash and go down, those people need to sell or they want to sell. And here's the thing. A lot of them don't want to sell at this point in time. You see, for a house price crash to really get some steam behind it, you need lots of distressed sellers. At the moment, the market is significantly slower than normal times. There are less transactions happening. There are less properties for sale. There are less buyers in the market. There's a whole lot of people with a wait and see approach. So what's happening is house prices are going to go down. You see, we've had some data last month from Rightmove that say finally asking prices have gone down. For months prior to that, we were just told asking prices were in fact up some months, which was crazy. Interest rates had gone up 12 times in a row and house prices had kept going up, the asking price at least. So what's happened is asking prices have started to drop. Now, that's going to have a huge lag until we get those sold deals through the market. Now, cash buyers, they might complete their transactions this year, but mortgage transactions, which is a bigger chunk of the market, those deals aren't going to complete until the spring or summer next year. It's a real slow process buying a house. So this is what you're going to see going forward this year. I think the market is going to slowly drop. I think maybe another 1% this year. And so I think all in all, you'll see a 3 to 4% drop annually in 23. The reason that will go is slightly better than the 6% is because some of that happened in 22. So that's going to drop off of our figures soon. So it's going to seem like house prices are going up. When you read the news in November and December, you're going to see articles that say prices aren't dropping as much. So it's going to feel positive, but it's not, because the house prices are still going down and you've just dropped some of that off the 12-month cycle that they're talking about. So this year, house prices are going to go down 3 to 4%. Next year, it really depends on inflation. And so I think that if we could keep the inflation down and we can get that gone, which does seem tough with potentially oil prices going back up, that might mean some more interest rate rises. But if we can keep the inflation down at 3%, it probably won't get to 2%, but if we can keep it down as close as we can get it to 3%, I don't think that you're going to see a huge crash next year either. What I think you're going to see is maybe a 3-4% again next year. But then if you take into account the inflation, because the house is worth less. So let's just say you've got a 100 grand house, right? And next year it's still worth 100 grand, but we've had 2 years of high inflation. Let's say we've had 15% of compounded inflation there. You sold that 100k. Now you're really only able to buy around 85k worth of goods that you could have that first year, right? Does that make sense? So the real value of that cash has dropped significantly. So we will get a drop in house prices with inflation. Affordability is definitely getting improved because of the inflation, right? That's a given. But real cash drop, I think you'll get 8-10% maybe total, plus a 15% on that. And it will feel like house prices have dropped more than 20 to 25%. The actual real world crash won't have happened that badly. And that is good for investors. It's also good for people that want to buy a house. Then the interest rates, hopefully the back end of next year, we might look at having some drops in interest rates. And if that happens, then the back end of next year, the market starts moving again. You get more people coming in to buy properties. The prices might not go up in the short term because people still feel the pain. Maybe their property's already been on for 6 months, but finally it sells at the back end of next year. And that's when the market will start getting moving. In 25 and 26, I think you'll start seeing a more realistic back to normal market. Now, with interest rates, I don't think you're going to see interest rates drop below 3% for a long time. I reckon 3.5% to 4% is good. And I think the market levels out then. I think as an investor, that's fine. All I want as an investor is a predictable interest rate. It's when it goes from 0 to 6, that's a problem. But if it stays at 6 and it sits at 6 forever, then that isn't a problem for me. We've historically had higher interest rates than that. People invested, people made money, house prices went up in those times too. It's the unpredictability and the speed of the increase that was the problem. I don't see that you're going to go from 5.5% up to 10% interest rates anytime soon, even if inflation kicks around for a little bit longer. So house prices, I think, are going to go down this year. I think they're going to carry on going down next year. But I think that you're going to have to also look at what impact inflation has. That's going to have another impact on the real price of that, the real value of that property as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do subscribe, hit the bell, check out some other content on my channel. We could hit 1 million views very soon. So why don't you go and watch this video right here.